Zero DTE. So zero DTE is a popular way of day trading these days, using options and taking advantage of the edge that you have with selling options as opposed to buying them. Zero DTE is trading the S&P, the S&P index, and you can do it either with the SPX, options on the SPX, or options on the SPY, or the way I like to do it, options on the E-mini S&P futures contract. Now, why do I like to use the futures contract? I like to use the futures contract because there's no pattern day trader rule applied. So I can trade back and forth, open, close a position, all I want with a small account. When I say a small account, I mean with options generally or stocks or SPX, you need a $25,000 account at least. If you don't, then you can't make more than 3 opening and closing trades in the same asset class within a 5-day rolling period. If you do, then you'll be in trouble. You'll have to close down your account will be closed down for you for 90 days. This is why I like the futures. You don't have any problem like that with the futures. The other advantage of now, let me get back to zero DTE and what it is. It's trading options on the last day of expiration for the S&P. And they do it 3 times a week, so it's pretty cool. You are on Monday, Wednesday, or Friday, you can open a position and take it to the expiration by the end of the trading day. Now, the advantage or the edge that you have is because it is the last day of expiration, and because you would be a seller of options, any strategy that you put on, typically what people do is they'll put on a credit spread or an iron condor or something like that that is a premium decay strategy, and they'll take advantage of that rapid decay going into expiration, and that's what gives them the edge, because typically, as we know, selling options has an edge because volatility or implied volatility is generally overstated. It's a little bit tougher when you're in a real positive market like we have right now, but it works nonetheless. You can collect a lot of premium in that day earlier in the morning, and actually here's one of the advantages of using the futures contract. With the futures, I don't have to wait until the cash market opens at 9:30. The futures, I could open up something at 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock in the morning. I could open it up the night before, maybe right after the European Open, for instance. There's a lot of activity that happens then, and it might show or give a tell as to what the direction of the market will be. So those are 2 huge advantages that you have with futures over doing, options with futures over doing options with the SPX or options with the SPY. Now, what I'm going to be doing for the next few weeks is I'm going to be demonstrating the zero DTE trade. Now, the reason why I'm doing this is that I have a service, first of all, that if you'd like to join up, go to asymmetricadvisor.com and check that out and learn about how to trade with the proper risk to reward ratio. Now, what most people are doing today with zero DTE is they're putting on very high probability trades, usually like a 5 or a 6 delta. And then they'll put on a credit spread, or they'll put on a very wide iron condor, and they'll immediately put on a stop that amounts to about 3 times the credit that they received when they put the trade on. Now, that might sound like a great way to trade. Like, I got a 95% chance of winning. The problem is, sure, you might win 7, 8, 9, 10 times in a row, but when you lose, your loss is going to be so big that you're going to wipe out the last 4, 5, 10 days of trading. and it's simply a non-starter for me. The risk to reward is ridiculous. You're risking potentially $1,000 to make $50, which is crazy. So what I'm going to show in my demonstrations going forward the next few weeks is how to trade this with a complete inversion of that strategy, where we're risking just a small amount to make a big amount. So instead of being, 10 parts risk to 1 part reward, it will literally be inverted to something like 1 part risk, 10 parts reward. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that you'll be winning more, but even those ones where you lose or don't win the big kahuna, the big prize, you can still make a little, right? You can still be positive. And then when you do win the bigger trade, it's very large. So overall, your prospects of trading successfully with this inverted approach are much greater and far less risky and a lot more enjoyable. So join me on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Friday mornings when we now analyze the market and then figure out what our next zero DTE trade is going to be with inverted risk to reward. Much greater reward than risk. All right. Thank you very much, and we'll see you.